Okay, hello, welcome back to another game of chess. There you are, facing the move d4. We're going to play c5. Of course, we're going to go for this old Benoni setup. They take, interestingly enough, most people push past or try and play some kind of boring c3, knight f3, I don't know. We're going to play e6 here. Taking is, I believe, generally ill-advised because, you know, you can't hold on to this pawn. b4, there'd be a5, c3, there'd be takes, and then queen f6 is a disgusting little trap there, which wins a rook. Or more accurately, I guess they could gambit the knight. We could take that. Those of you that are familiar with that line, that'll have made sense. We can recapture this now and kind of just dissolve the position from like a d4 position into one where I've just got a pleasant bishop here. I can develop my knight easily. I can develop the other knight easily. I can play a smooth and quick d5. Maybe my opponent goes some kind of c4, although they develop the other knight, meaning that they can't go for d4 at least very quickly. So honestly, oh sorry, c4 at least very quickly. So, I mean, why on earth not play d5? And in terms of, you know, positions that black can get against, you know, 1d4, this looks pretty clean. It looks fairly exciting to play. We're gonna probably try and play for e5 and then maybe even e4, get a bit of a space advantage here. We just have 2 pawns in the center. We have not quite a lead in development, but we're, you know, not behind on development at all. It just doesn't make loads of sense to take here because you just give black a very pleasant position. You don't fight for much out of the opening as white. Now I'm thinking, if I just go for a little a6, I mean, either you go back and that could be problematic, or I'm expecting them to take the knight for some reason. Okay, they can go back to e2, fine. I say for some reason, probably because bishop b5, the obvious move was knight c6, and then I guess, you know, whenever you put a bishop on b5 or a knight on b5 or, you know, b4 or g5 or g4, you've got to think about, you know, the a6 prophylaxis. Well, not quite prophylaxis, it's just kicking it in this case, or whatever the analog is in each of the other cases. And you'd expect that my opponent's intentions were to take. Otherwise, what sense did it make to go here and then back? You've given me a6 for free, which doesn't look like the most productive move, but actually controls this, maybe doesn't allow any piece here. This bishop's kind of getting bullied now. I'm feeling pretty fantastic about my position. Do I play e5? Yes, I think is the answer. Look at the position I've got myself against d4. Do you know what I mean? People shouldn't be taking here, I'm convinced of it. Maybe you play a3, b4, sure. I might drop back into a7. I might start with e4. I mean, I might claim the space advantage. I might have the nice open, you know what, yeah, e4, bit of a no-brainer to me. You can play this. I'm not going to take that. Maybe I will. Probably I won't. They move the knight. Yeah, this is a dream position. An absolute dream position. And, you know, a lot of players get d4, you know, they face d4 and very often just d4, d5. You kind of end up in white's positional game and it kind of sucks. This c5, I mean, they didn't have to take, of course, but at least when they do, you seem to be able to get a gorgeous position. Now, enough talking about the gorgeous position I have. Let's try and do something with it. I'm thinking, if we're really trying to be aggressive, romantic, take my opponent into a territory which maybe they're not too comfortable, I'm going to play h5. I'm going to make this extremely aggressive move, which is going to say, you know what, your king is not going to find peace for the rest of this game. I'm thinking my knight might damn well end up on g4, and if you ever take it, then we've got this kind of fishing pole-esque idea where we then open up that file, we can bring the bishop back, we can bring the queen here, or, you know, the other way around and have the queen on d6, threatening mates, you play g3 maybe. Might not help you a whole lot if we've got the open h file and we can sneak in. I'm feeling very, very strong here. You have 0 legal moves with the bishop. I mean, literally, you cannot move this piece right now. This rook, 2 pointless moves. Rook e1, I doubt that that's a great idea. In terms of just the general flexibility of the position, yeah, okay, you can move the knight, sure. But I wanted to realign this bishop. I wanted to get that bishop on this diagonal. Now, the question is, if I go here straight away, do you have takes? The answer is no, because I can take, and if queen takes, we have bishop h2, and then I, of course, win the queen. So I do think bishop d6 immediately, and I think I'm actually threatening not a Greek gift, but a souped up Greek gift. A Greek gift may be made possible. You know, in general, the Greek gift's not possible because the bishop holds g4, but we've got this h5 sort of pivot here, such that if we did go, let's say with my move here, bishop h2, king h2, knight g4 check. Now, normally, you know, the queen can't take that because the bishop defends and therefore the king's going to move. Then we can get in with the queen. But in this case, the bishop could take it. And in general, that would kind of put a dampener on our potential for Greek gift, or for a Greek gift rather. But if you do take, you know, if you try to remove that knight, that's going to allow the queen to threaten some mating ideas. We take like this, with check, open the h-file, then play queen h4, and you're completely dead there. You play f4, we just go past with g3, squeeze you in, mate on h1. The game could legitimately continue like that. I mean, you waste a move here. To be fair, even if you notice this, what do you do about it? Obviously, you could play like a g3. I guess maybe h3 could make some sense. But it seems like you kind of have to push a pawn in front of your king. And if g3, we can bite on this hook, which would be a pawn pushed in front of the opponent's king that would allow us to force some tension here, open the h-file and probably slide in anyway. Wow. King h1. Honestly, I'm still tempted to play bishop h2, because if king takes, then we just transpose into the exact position with bishop here and then king takes. So you clearly can't take this, because then we get our same Greek gift idea. However, bishop here g3 could be a problem. Maybe though I just play knight g4. I don't know. Bishop here g3. Then, I mean, in the same way that if they played g3 just then, I'd have played it. Maybe we just go h4. You take here, we go double check. You have to imagine that I'm doing very well there. I could probably just play knight g4 to start with, though, and that would also be very strong. But I think I'm sacrificing this bishop. It's not quite a Greek gift. It's a Greek gift without the check. It's also not a classical Greek gift in the sense that, you know, I need this h-pawn here to support my knight to go to g4. I don't see... Now, that baffles me. That completely and utterly baffles me, because surely the only reason psychologically to play king h1 was at least an attempt. You know, you've seen the Greek gift ideas. It was an attempt to maybe delay them and try to play for g3. Like, I thought, you know what, that's quite creative. How can you take here? Knight g4, check. You take this, you are absolutely dead along the h-file. You don't take it, where exactly do you think you're going? You could bring the king out to g3. It's relatively self-explanatory as to why that's a terrible idea. Although, actually... Well, would we have h5 or is it queen g5? I don't really know. We can look in the analysis. Now, queen h4 is played. That's a mate threat. It's an unstoppable mate threat. You take here, I just take here, and then you've got two mate threats like this. You play f4, we play g3, squeeze you in here. I think this is just a new and improved Greek gift. That h5 move, enabling a Greek gift in a context where, in general, it would not have been possible. Push your f-pawn. Try and get some luft. Try and run away. Any other move, there's mate in one. But, okay, well... That's a little underwhelming. There is just mate in one here on h1. Well, I guess, you know, we aren't forced to sort of play the nice little g3 squeezing him in, but it's just checkmate there. Absolutely filthy stuff indeed. Okay, so here we are in the analysis. It's 95% accurate. It's just, you know, it's as smooth as you really like. There's one inaccuracy, and that was bishop d6, because I could have played bishop a7, funnily enough. Nice. They'd move the bishop, move the rook, then put the bishop on b8 eventually. That would have been kind of cool. I just thought bishop d6. They can play f4 here, and f4 would have been the way to prevent these kind of weird Greek gift-esque ideas. But I can just start kind of tearing some stuff open. Bishop takes. Hold on, though. I might still get this Greek gift idea, because check here. Queen here, right? What? And then I guess takes. But at this point, apparently you get time to take here. And I guess the point is that you've already pushed the f-pawn, so you already have the luft to run. So, you know, when you push the f-pawn, I can't just respond with this. You know, if I now play this, then Jesus on a bike. Am I getting mated somehow? Oh my lord, the engine says mate in 10. What? I guess because I have to go knight d4. Rook here, right. And then I have to take this, and then there's at least this. And despite this looking all promising, they could have won my... Wow, that would have been insane. But, I mean, they had to find f4, and even then they had to then find some pretty particular stuff. Bishop takes here. A very weird move, because you're used to doing that with check, but when the king takes, it's a check, it's a here. They take, and how they put up the most resilient defense, you'd imagine f4. I go g3 here and squeeze them in, and then I guess I'm okay. They can play queen h5 intermezzo and then here. But after that moment, nothing stops the checkmate here. Okay, I mean, that was a nice, gorgeous miniature. I think it's time for another one. Let's go e4. We're doing a double episode today of some disgusting attacking chess. We're gonna play e5. Come on now. You're gonna play this, you're gonna play this. Oh yeah, baby. A Van der Wiel. e6. I'm gonna play g4. We're going in hard with this g4 move. You've got to play bishop g6 here pretty much. I don't really think there's any alternative. And then knight ge2, we're going to do some disgusting prep against the Caro-Kann. h4 is inbound. Will my opponent play c5? They do. h4, we're currently tracking, in fact, I believe, several thousand master games. This is a, you know, it looks kind of a-theoretical. This is slightly interesting. They take. Okay, now I'd imagine I should recapture. The question is, the thing is, sometimes this knight b5, which is an idea. No, wait, hold on. Knight b5, is there just queen here? Very plausibly. Okay, I think we just take with the knight here. The problem is, though, this knight here, the general response to h5 is to put that on f4, and then after the bishop moves back, take on h5. So I'm wondering, if we use the knight, do they then play h5? And maybe I'm not left with a great move there. Although, hold on, I might have bishop b5 in that context. Knight e7. I just play like f4 or something. I don't know. Maybe I just go queen takes. Knight c6. Doesn't seem completely stupid to play like queen a4 there. Okay, you know what? I really should know what to do here. I think I'm going to go for this queen takes. I like the idea of after h5 having knight f4. I'd rather not use my knight to go and recapture this. I do not have to contend with this move, but I think queen a4 makes at least some sense. Maybe you can do something like this. Maybe it's a little slow. I'm thinking potentially f4, potentially h5, potentially knight f4. Potentially bishop g5. I don't really know what's going on. I think it's a... Okay, they play h6. I mean, I'm playing f4. In general, the response to h6 that I have is h4, but that's the response to h6 in this position right here. Who knows if f4 is playable right now? But what I do know is that we've pushed every single pawn on the king side an outrageous amount, and that I'm now looking, maybe, just maybe, to continue pushing them. I don't know, like, is f5 a move? Because if you take, we can take here. That looks like a problem for you, maybe. So I think I'm just going to start with f5. I think f4 or f5, I mean, why not? You either play bishop h7, in which case, I mean, hello, f5 is clearly a decent idea. Or you take, in which case the central pawn collapses here. Your queen's hit. Awesome, okay. Now, do I take? I mean, this diagonal gets very soft, but I don't really have much access to it. If I move this, I hang this, but maybe I don't care because there's then rook b1, and that traps the queen because we hold a... No, we don't, because then the bishop holds this. I don't know what's going on. I do want to move this bishop. I kind of want to castle queenside. Can I, for instance, sacrifice a knight and then just play e6? I mean, I'm trying to be villainous here. I'm trying to be devious. You know what? What about bishop g2? Let's just put a little pressure on here. There is genuinely some idea of a sacrifice. This is pinned temporarily. Maybe that's just a blunder. Maybe they castle queenside, okay? What on earth is going on? I might just go bishop d2, honestly. What else am I going to do? Bishop f4 seems like a move, I guess. I could align my bishops here and hopefully have them sniping when the center kind of opens. Right, you know what? Bishop f4. Again, not really sure what's going on, but we've got seemingly great development. I can castle queenside, you'd assume. And, I mean, I step out of any pin and... I don't really know what's happening, to be completely honest. Bishop f4 also stabilizing the e-pawn now that the knight's unpinned. The queen on a4 seems to be applying some good pressure. That's... I guess it's not dangerous because I don't have a way to forcibly move this pawn, but... Oh, maybe I do. Maybe I do. Hold on. Now we're talking. Right, hold on. I actually love my position. I can sacrifice here. Let's say knight takes. You're compelled to take, pretty much. If you don't, I've just got a free pawn in the center. I've opened the diagonal. Awesome. You take. I then have... e6 check. Is that actually a good thing? Probably. Maybe also, though, I go bishop sack, pawn takes, knight takes. We get tempo on the queen there. Hold on, now we're talking. You'd imagine keeping this gorgeous bishop on the board is a great idea, but I think keeping the knight here, being able to have the knight threatening this and being able to push with the knight also looking at c7 and then have some kind of check. They have to come back in, a double check. I don't know. You know what? I just believe in this move. I believe in the sack. If you don't accept, then thank you very much for the free pawn, the openness of everything. Maybe I'm sacking here. I don't know. If you do accept, knight takes. Your queen's here. I'm controlling c7. Also, I'm preparing e6 as this disgusting break. King b8. I don't know, I feel like this sack should have been on their radar because, you know, a way to forcibly try and push this feels like a fantastic idea. They might try some kind of queen b4, they do accept, okay, right. They could sack the rook, I don't see that serving them very well though, because then they don't even have the material to compensate for being in a lot of trouble here. In a little hot water, let's say. And this bishop is just a godlike piece. We've got the tempo here. I mean, where do you put the queen? Because you go... Okay, right, hold on. We start with a check, you'd imagine. Yeah, let's just... I mean, I don't really think I need to put too much thought into that. You're going to move your king. The question is where. Now, maybe this is just a context where I end up somehow... Can I, like, really trap this bishop? I don't know. I'm at least getting 3 pawns for the knight, which is why I feel... Or, sorry, for the bishop, I guess. Well, yeah, for the knight, because we... they have an extra knight? I don't know. But it was the bishop we sacked. I don't know how to phrase this. But we're at least getting these pawns. Also, your king has 0 legal moves right now. That kind of has to be a problem. You'd imagine there would be some kind of genius sacrifice, but unfortunately both knights hold this square. What if I pushed and your rook was hit? You just move the rook? Yeah, probably. If I take and you take, and then I take here, the knight is compelled to move. Where to? Let's say f6. Well, I mean, otherwise it's hanging, so awesome. Then, hold on. Do I not just go mate? Takes, here, takes. If you don't move your knight, I'm taking it and promoting. If you do move your knight, you have 2 legal moves. Here, I take this. Oh my lord. Oh my lord. We have this unbelievable initiative here. I said both knights defend e7, but one of them has to defend the queen and now comes across this way. The other one kicked by my f-pawn. This might be some kind of immortal game. I'm not even trying to be funny. You go knight f6, I go checkmate. Guys. Guys. Each of these games is worth a standalone video. You better subscribe. I don't know what is... That could be... Hold on. If that analysis is anything remotely like some kind of 90% accuracy. You know, I don't need it to be 100% accurate. The best game's a little bit inaccurate. But if that game has anything vaguely resembling, like, at least I maintain an advantage. Oh, that looks a little... it's not too bad. That's not too bad. That's not too... Honestly, come on now. Come on now. 89% accuracy, I'm taking that. The most winning they ever were was minus 0.8. And then from their point of castling, bishop f4, I mean, give me that advantage and give me that disgusting checkmating idea. Admittedly, I should know what to do after CD4. Let's go through that game. I mean, that was a nice game. Listen, I think at least one of you now is morally obliged to go to the link in the description, click on the Patreon where you can see a bonus video, games like this, every single week on a Sunday. There are currently 22 that are up there, awaiting your ravenous consumption. I mean, you can, at the mere click of a few buttons, but, you know, for the sake of the phrase, a click of a button, have access to all of them. It's something like £8 a month. You get your name at the end of all my videos, 4 bonus videos every month, depending, maybe 5, depending on how many Sundays there are in the month, of course. And also, and this is kind of, I'm teasing this a little at the moment because I haven't actually got the product yet, but I might be putting together a bit of like a deep dive on a personal favorite opening of mine. Maybe no prizes for guessing what that might be. And I'm thinking I'm going to put together, you know, a couple hours of video. I'm going to sell it as like a product on the Patreon. You know, if you're not remotely interested in this, skip forward to the analysis. But all long-term patrons, so if you've been a patron, I believe for like 3 months or more, I'll give you a discount code to get it. Let's say I'm selling it for $30, you'll get it for $3. Effectively, there are many extremely compelling reasons for you to join the Will Taylor Chess Patreon, support the channel, get all your bonus stuff. Forgive me for the regular plugging, but I am trying to make a living out of this whole YouTube chess venture, which is frankly ridiculous, but the Patreon is, you know, one of the main ways I'm trying to do that. So I'm probably going to at least mention it each video. Hopefully, you know, for those of you that are in there, majorly appreciate you. Anyone that's at least considering it, appreciate you as well. If you're not remotely interested, still massively appreciate you. Let's get on with the analysis. Although there's not, like, loads to analyze. I mean, this is all theory. You know, if we open the master's database here, yeah, g4, 96% of the time, bishop g6, knight g2, c5, h4. Now, at this point, they do play cd4, and I should have taken with my knight, which I'm now interested as to see, or just seeing, like, h5 then. And then apparently, wow, okay, so apparently f4 is the move that's most played. There's also bishop b5, but f4 then? hg4 presumably, and is it f5? Okay, f5's played in 3 games. Bishop b5 is apparently a little more accurate. Bishop b5, I guess, because you have to go knight d7. Then I can continue with f5. Wow, this looks like some pretty particular prep. So if they take, knight takes, f4, hg4, and I can go for the bishop b5 intermezzo, force this here, kind of everything gets a little pinned up. And I guess, I mean, the Lichess database, this looks disgusting. A lot of people taking on h4 with the rook. Wow, okay, that gets complicated. Gotta play like rook f1, although that makes some sense as well. What mistakes can you make here in the Lichess database? Bishop f5, is that a mistake? Well, bishop f5 and ef5 are both not ideal, because I imagine bishop f5, we can take, and then pick this up, right? Takes. Oh, and then queen takes on d5, apparently. I guess there's a lot of pressure there. You can't come to f6 with the knight. If you do this, oh, then I can take on b7. Jesus, right. Yeah, this gets messy. I'll probably look at this more in my own time, but there is something direct against the takes here, which is this idea. And then I was worrying about h5 because I then don't have this knight f4 resource. You know, generally play h5 here, knight f4, they go back, we can take here. This is kind of the main line. There are like 20,000 games in the database. However, takes, the idea is to take like this, f4, and go for f5 and bishop b5. Sweet. I will remember that and maybe flesh it out a little in my own time. Queen a4, though, this is not unreasonable stuff. Not unreasonable at all. Then I play or rather, sorry, f4. That accounts for both of my mistakes, taking here and playing f4 immediately. It liked me going for h5 sooner. Bishop h7 and then knight d4. Yeah, that makes some sense. Whatever. We're playing f4. They should have got on this diagonal with the bishop and then maybe the queen after. I don't know. Why is this so much more accurate? The queen doesn't protect the... So, okay, cool. They can take here with me not being able to take like this. So, actually, a really nuanced thing. Their move order in terms of getting the battery towards here, which is, I'm sure, at least vaguely what they were intending, allowed me to go for this f5, because if takes, we can take here. Then the bishop goes back. Develop my bishop. Should have played bishop d2. I was thinking about that. Bishop f4 now. And I believe, after castles, takes. Them stepping into here, not a good move, because, surely, why is that not the best move? What? I thought that would be brilliant. I mean, I would play this 100% of the time. If knight takes, though, that wouldn't have been so strong, I guess, because here, we don't have that beautiful knight here. We don't have the compelling, you know, threat on the queen. And if this, yeah, we can go e6, and then here, then I guess we take, and things seem to trade down. I mean, again, there would have been this very beautiful positional idea to just kill this bishop as best as possible. You know, we get all the pawns for the knight, fine. I think taking with the bishop made a lot of sense. Engine likes rook he1, shut up. Stockfish, where is your romance? No, I'm not having that at all. Bishop takes is a genius move. Here, we go like this. They could and should have sacked the rook, and instead, moving the queen, we go e6, and somehow, already it's +9. We trade this off, we take here, the knight's compelled to move, but alas, if you move it, checkmate on e7. What a disgusting game. Thank you guys so much for watching a couple of quite romantic miniatures. I think I channeled my inner Labordonnais, my inner Morphy, my inner Anderson. I mean, you can see down on the side there, we've got Morphy, Labordonnais, Anderson. You know, recently I finished my degree. I was kind of thinking, right, I need to get really good at chess. I think I've forgotten what it's all about. And that's playing beautiful, romantic games. I think I've been trying to worry about, you know, what is playable theory at the master level so that I can have aspirations of being a It's about playing like Paul Morphy in the 1850s, when chess engines weren't a thing. I say that having just played the most computer prep ever. I'm being a hypocrite here, but there's something spiritually correct about, you know, a couple miniatures like this. I believe the first one was 16 moves, and this one was like 21. A couple disgusting romantic miniatures. I mean, these are the kind of games that make people fall in love with chess. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you do fancy supporting the channel, check out the Patreon. If you fancy, and I'm happy to plug this after such a disgusting performance, one-on-one coaching if you're an intermediate or beginner level player. I offer one-to-one coaching calls. You can check out my website. There's a video on there explaining everything. I don't tend to advertise that too hard because I kind of prefer, you know, when people come to me and say, dude, I really like the way you play. I like the way you explain stuff. Can you try and bless me with the knowledge that you have somehow acquired? And I say, absolutely yes. But while I'm trying to take this full time, that kind of stuff is what I'm using to like bolster the income from various things like ad revenue, which is shaky at best. Although frankly, the fact that I'm earning a penny for playing chess as genuinely just overall quite a bad player, in the grand scheme of things, of course, I mean, is outrageous. I'm eternally grateful to all of you for making that possible. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.